James didn't say. He was sulky next morning and wouldn't steam properly. When at last he did start, he bumped the trucks hard. He's cross, sniggered the spiteful brake van. We'll try to make him crosser still. Hold back, whispered the van to the trucks. Hold back, giggled the trucks to each other. James did his best, but he was exhausted when they reached Edward Station.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm like really sick now, which is why this video is probably going to be really late coming out, but I've bitched enough about YouTube's copyright system. It's full of bullshit. Last time I ran the bloopers, I played a remix by Izzy RL Productions, his remix of American Boy or whatever, and it fits the narrative. And I'm like, and for some reason YouTube decided to give me a copyright claim for reusing the song that I've used before and got no strike, but somehow this time I'm getting a copyright claim. YouTube's copyright system absolutely sucks. It's going to take me a while to get to that Thomas video, but I promise I will get to it eventually. I've decided, whilst I'm still sick, I decided I would just go over a few things that people didn't really ask for, but hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and talk about it. We're going to have to step back quite a bit to get where we are now, so let's go ahead and do that. For those of you who haven't seen Casey Jr. the movie, which you should totally go and see if you haven't, in one of the sequences, there is a reference to the episode Haunted Henry, and originally Gordon was actually supposed to appear in this, and he was supposed to be a K4 locomotive. Originally, Gordon was actually supposed to be the fill-in for Shaq, the 282 Mikado that appears in the first version of the film. Originally, he was supposed to be his fill-in, but eventually I swapped it to James because I felt like James made a little bit more sense, and it meant I could cut the cost of filming. I had an idea of a remake that I wanted to do, but I'll go ahead and I'll keep it quiet. My interest in building a model of Gordon would eventually resurface after the pilot was released. And that's such a great thing that we now have. A bunch of other people have already talked about it, and my reaction was probably about the same as what everyone else's was. Ideally, I think I would like to make Gordon a K4 because, it's express locomotive. Gordon's an express locomotive. K4s were inspired his basis, I think, but I could be wrong about that. But it would make sense to make him a K4. But I have looked at, the model power of 462s, and those have, the correct tapered firebox. And they do they have a nose headlight, but I don't know, that kind of works in Gordon's favor, I guess, because he does have a big nose. But then again, I would probably take the smoke box off and put a face on him or something. I don't know. I don't really know which model I would take a face from, but I don't know. Maybe I'd just do the paper face thing again. I'm not sure. You guys can tell me in the comments below which one makes a little bit more sense. So feel free to tell me in the comments. I would still like to do Down the Mine. I built a lot of the props that I do need for it, like the sign. I have Annie and Clarabelle. I built one of the milk tankers, but I built it in the season 1 style where they have to flip it around. And okay, we're going off track again, but I always thought the breakdown train only had 2 doors. Those of you who don't know, in a lot of seasons 1 to 2, the old coaches and I think the tank wagons, they would paint them on one paint scheme on one side and then tar wagons and milk tankers on the other side. And this was the tactic they used for the beginning of the season due to budget issues. And I think the breakdown train uses that same tactic, but with the doors. Because you'll notice the doors go missing a lot of the time in between shots. And you'll notice that, I noticed it, I think, first in Henry's Forest. The cranes don't have the doors.
Drake? What? Where's the door hole?
My guess is they kept losing pieces of the breakdown train, and they just kept flip-flopping pieces depending on what side the camera was facing. But it's really weird because in later seasons they just stopped paying attention to it. After figuring that out, I was just I need one of the tank wagons from season 1 so I could just flip it around and I can use it whatever way I want. If I ever do this stuff again, I'm going to make sure new episode, new character. I don't want to reuse the same character again, but just doing a different episode. Back on track. So I will eventually do Down the Mine if I get enough support, or if you guys really, really want to see that. I'll go ahead and I'll do a remake of Down the Mine. I also want to point out that this is actually one of the first videos where and I don't know if I'm going to get any questions on this yet, but this is the first video that I attempted to animate sparks. Usually when I try to animate, I usually just use the app Flip a Clip, and then I just do it in there and I drop it into my normal editing software, doing that animation stuff separately. But the thing is, usually when you do it in there, your footage ends up looking a little juddery, and it ends up looking a little weird. So for this one, I ended up cropping over it and then doing it in as a blue screen effect. So this way the footage looks a lot less choppy. And I think it came out all right. There's a couple frames missing, but I'm going to put that down to my own carelessness because I was a little distracted. Bruh, why didn't no one tell me the third episode came out? And why didn't no one tell me that I was sort of right? Granted, that happened in one of the dead ends, and the dead ends aren't really canon because, you lost. But getting off topic, I guess. I wonder if there was a set of magic buffers in Soto that took you to hell. Those would probably be at Kildane, wouldn't they? Right, Kildane and Standing Stones, whatnot. Guys, I think I figured out where Edward was during Magic Railroad. Granted, I don't know. Would Edward be involved? Kildane's off the main line, I think. But then again, I think his station, Wellsworth, is right next to where Kildane would be. It's right off. I don't know. Would Edward be involved? I'm kind of surprised that's not already a concept yet tackled. Someone else needs to do something about that. I want to thank you guys for all your support. I feel like I'm forgetting to mention something, but I can't think about what it is. Well, thank you all for watching, I guess, and goodbye.